Howdy, y'all. Today, I want to talk about a time that my fire team took out an enemy sniper team in Iraq. Let's jump right into it. Actually, first, let me give you some context of the situation. This is my second combat deployment to Iraq. We're in the middle of one of the largest but relatively unknown operations that happened in the Iraq War. Operation Steel Curtain. This was a super kinetic fight that happened close to the Syrian border near Al Qaim in the towns of Husayba, Karabala, and Ubaidi. The anti coalition leader, al Zarqawi, said that they would hold Usaba with an iron fist. And they tried. We were getting into gunfights, huge gunfights, every single day. And it was a weapons free environment, meaning if you were in the area, you were a bad guy. 3rd Battalion, 6 Marines, 3-6 had been there the whole time, operating out of Al Qaim. Alpha Company, 1st LAR, my unit, came in to support them. Our Delta Company had been there before, so we knew there had been a lot of fighting. Mu, that brought in 2nd Battalion, 1st Marines, 2-1, was in town. So with that extra support, that's why all of this was going down. So I'm not going to go into the whole game plan for Steel Curtain, but for one of the phases of the operation in Karabala, 3-6 and 2-1 were going to start on one side of the city and be the hammer. And snipers, tanks, and LAR were going to be in the other side of the city across a wadi, one that we called Emerald Wadi, and we were going to be the anvil. For those that don't know, a wadi is basically just a dried up riverbed or a small valley. So as insurgents retreated from fighting 2-1 and 3-6, they would run right into us and just get slayed. The enemy sniper threat in the region was horrible. Even before the operation began, Iraqi snipers had wounded and killed multiple Marines. And it wasn't just onesies and twosies, they were rolling deep. There was a bunch of snipers in the area. This was almost like trench warfare. Actually, I guess it was kind of like reverse trench warfare since it was a wadi. We had our side of the wadi, and the insurgents had their side of the wadi. And we would just lob rounds at each other all day long. 3-6 Stay, call sign Reaper, had took over the tallest building on our side of the wadi, which we called the Reaper House. And that's actually where our headquarters elements stayed as well. So it was LAR at the bottom and Reaper, the snipers, on the top of the building. When things would get quiet or there was a lull in the fight, you would hear Reaper get on the net, and they basically just let us know. They'd tell us, hey, we're going to fire a couple rounds and see if we can stir anything up. And sure enough, you'd hear Reaper shoot. Then a few moments later, you'd see an RPG being lobbed across the wadi and hear sporadic fire, which would kick off a gunfight. Not always, but most of the time. One day, Reaper let us know that they were going to fire some rounds. Sure enough, they shoot. And I see a dude turkey peek around this building from behind this wall on a rooftop. You always see videos and movies of dudes that were cool, calm, and collected in combat. Not me, dude. I was like, I saw someone. My vehicle commander, Sergeant Jarvis, he was like, well, shoot him. And I let him know that I didn't see him anymore. And I immediately asked to dismount my team so we could get a better vantage point. Most of the time we were buttoned up. Their snipers were good. And we weren't trying to hide. We'd go to a spot, we'd park, go static, in a spot where people could see us and just duke it out with the enemy. It was a calculated risk, but he let us dismount. We go down this wall and we find these tractor tires and lean them up against this different wall so we could stand on top of them so we could get a good viewpoint of the house. It's only 3 of us. We're all popped up on this wall, and I had made sure that my team knew which building to be watching. I kind of walked them onto it, but unfortunately, we don't see him. Look, I'm not a sniper. I'm not going to wait there all day with my head popped up so I could get murked by some Iraqi sniper. So I start scheming. I had a great team of dudes. The dudes were just straight killers. I'm the team lead. Joswick, this big dude from Chicago, he's my saw gunner. He's actually senior to me. He'd been in OIF1, so he's on his 3rd deployment. I'm on my 2nd, but I was a really fast runner, so I'm obviously a better leader, and I promoted faster. I'm saying this sarcastically. Then we got Harrison, who's this country boy from Florida, hardcore hunter that was just about that life. It was a great team. Our whole vehicle was just solid. Jarvis was a super senior VC. I think he was with 1-4 before he re-enlisted to go to LAR. Villaba, our gunner, the dude was basically an LAV sniper. And Fincham was our experienced pretty boy driver. Anyway, we're standing on those tires, and I'm like, I know there's a dude there. Even though we didn't have PID, I knew that if we fired a couple rounds, he would make a move, and the team was down. So I tell him on the count of 3, we're going to start engaging. 3, 2, 1. Boom. We start engaging. Joswick's shooting his saw. Harrison's putting rounds on target. I'm firing into that gap where I saw the guy poke his head out. And sure enough, I see the dude making a run for it. He just starts to move, and you can tell when someone's hit. And I see him kind of crunch over. And just then, this was all like almost simultaneously, I see an explosion just pop up. And it was the 25 Mike from Villaba's, chain gun hitting the area. It was all like simultaneously, just worked out perfectly. And I see the dude drop. What I didn't see, unbeknownst to me, was the guy was not alone. There were others there. I don't know how many, for sure at least one. And they had separated. They had done like an L. The guy that I had originally saw was going for this other staircase, and another guy that I hadn't seen at all apparently went inside the house. What I didn't know is that other LAVs had positioned themselves into a position to be able to engage the house. So guy opens up the door and sees the barrel of an LAV right there pointed right at him. Closes the door, and I believe it was my company commander, a phenomenal leader, Captain Lang, just engages, shoots him through the door. And a couple other LAVs start shooting at that house as well. It's like watching piranhas eat a pea. They're just tearing the house apart. And then it just kind of all slows down. And then just because the Marine Corps is the Marine Corps, they're like, we're going to call in an airstrike. I'm on the ground, and I'm not sure who it was, is basically like, hey, call up a 9 line. And I botched the thing. I wasn't talking to the birds. I was talking to a fact that we had. This guy, Major Hernandez, no relation. I believe he had been a prior enlisted sniper, was a super cool dude, and was just talking to me real nonchalant. So I didn't really call in an airstrike, but I like to say I did. And this mixed section of birds come in and just start laying waste to the house. It was a Cobra and a Huey, and they're just tearing the house up, and they're doing like reattacks and reattacks. It was great watching. And while this is all going down, almost as soon as we, stop shooting, I look over at the team, and before I could even say anything, I think Joswick's like, I got the guy. And I didn't say anything at all. Like, I think Harrison was like, no, I think it was me. And the whole time I'm thinking, like, I got that dude. But it's just kind of funny. I'm not laughing at what we had done. I'm more laughing at the situation. The Marine Corps is really phenomenal at desensitizing you to violence. The after effects of having done said violence, not so much. But it is kind of comical how Marines kind of always end up in situations like that where you just don't know. Combat is chaos. It could have been me. It could have been Joswick. Could have been Harrison. Could have been Villaba. We don't know. But what I do know is that my team led to the destruction of an enemy sniper team in Iraq. It's just a small part of a huge operation. We didn't do anything crazy, but we definitely did something.
Joker? Yo! What's up? We got the sniper.
If you enjoyed this story and want more like it, whether it's insights into the military, combat, cybersecurity, defense-related content, you're in the right place. Hit that like button and leave a comment down below with your thoughts, questions, and let us know if you've ever been in a situation similar to that. Also, make sure to subscribe for more, and don't forget to turn on that notification bell so you never miss a new video. Stay sharp, stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.